many significant...
400 speaking parts in 2 seasons.
I mean, it doesn't get bigger than that.
No, I'm stupid.
Whether it's Mon Mothma's driver Kloris, Wilmon's heartbreaking look during Marva's funeral, the Gorman receptionist with a total of 3 conversations, or the greedy security guard that dies in the hand of Cassian, you just can't get these smaller roles out of your head, and in this video I'm going to dive into why. How this sci-fi series made ordinary people so real that even Star Wars began to feel grounded in reality.
That's just love. Nothing you can do about that.
However, I promise you, it's not as simple as just giving characters more screen time or zooming in on their reactions. It's deeper than that. It's about something so often missing in today's world of blockbuster and big franchise storytelling. A sense of understanding that in turn makes you as the audience able to see yourself inside the frame of this story.
I hope things work out for you. Rebellions are built on hope.
And if we truly want to tackle this subject, I need to take you on a little bit of a journey, beginning with the showrunner of the series, Tony Gilroy, and how he thinks about writing characters.
Someone asked me the other day on a thing, what's your favorite scene in the whole show? And I just shocked people. I said, well, the scene that means the most to me is the scene with Syril and the Inspector, because it's the one place where the show is rolling, where people are watching the show, where I feel comfortable all of a sudden.
I knew you were leaving this morning, and I wanted to make sure you had all the available information before your departure.
You've been very busy.
And that scene just sort of, it popped up. It became one of these landmark scenes, like, oh, he's changed his uniform. And oh my God, what a little asshole he is. And like...
Have you modified your uniform?
Perhaps slightly. Pockets piping and some light tailoring. I'm
really working small. I mean, periodically I'll pull out and say, what's the big picture and where am I going? But really it's a microscope almost all the time to get there.
The main theme of Andor is to flesh out the rebellion and the Empire, and while the Star Wars movies obviously touch on it, the idea of revolution has mostly just been a given. The Empire is evil and the rebels are there to bring justice back to the galaxy.
The rebellion will continue to gain a support in the Imperial Senate.
The Imperial Senate will no longer be of any concern to us.
But in reality, it's so much more complex than that. Something Tony Gilroy, for instance, highlights when talking about the first scene between Syril Karn and his supervisor.
I don't mean just the talking, I mean stop.
This conversation is so clever because of 2 reasons. First, it showcases the everyday nature of their job. The tired, annoyed boss versus the overly ambitious employee who wants to take the world by storm. We recognize these tropes because we have seen them in real life.
You look stricken, Deputy Inspector. Are you absorbing my meaning here?
Trying, sir.
His manager is just this amazing, another British actor, who just is like, could not be more exhausted with this, ferret of an employee.
The second reason is that it subtly prepares us for what's coming next by mirroring what we'll see more of later. The same corporate mindset that runs all the way through the Empire. A system where people care more about their careers than solving problems.
Tough case. Bad timing.
This scene actually reminds me much of HBO's classic crime drama The Wire, that dives deep into these questions of wrong versus right, career versus justice, and so on. I highly recommend you to watch it if you haven't already.
If you were gonna do me, I'd already be done. But there ain't nothing you fear more than a bad headline, is there?
The point, if we move back to Andor, is that wherever the story takes us, it gives us these quote-unquote normal conversations that on the surface could be seen as boring. Yet when you start to think about it, they tell us so much about the environment they're in.
You think I'm messing around?
I hope so. I'm gonna do us a favor and not mention this happened.
From the very start, Cassian is the person we follow, the guy that has most of these, so to speak, boring conversations. But even if he is the main character of the series, and it literally has his name, he's really more of a vessel for the larger story. Through him, we meet a lot of people. Many of them might seem unimportant at first, but they pretty much always serve a purpose. Take a character like Nerchi. To most people watching, he is a nobody. He has so few appearances, but even then you can see a full storyline. He starts off wanting his money back from Cassian, then he turns that frustration into betrayal, collaborating with the Empire, wanting him to get captured in the Season 1 finale, and in the end he dies by Wilmon's bomb. A death that wouldn't have happened if he hadn't left his community behind for the greed of the reward connected to capturing Cassian.
Pretend you're arresting me.
Hey! What do you think you're doing? Hey, move it! Move!
This is extremely understated symbolic writing that illustrates the toxic web of the Empire, how it slowly destroys everything it touches. Sure, you could argue that only nerds like me notice these things, but the important part is that it subconsciously adds to the overall experience. When every character is carefully crafted like this, they're no longer in the background or on the side, rather just a natural part of the story.
I'm sorry about your mother.
And if we stay with the Season 1 finale, especially Marva's speech, it might be the best example in Andor of how everything comes together. So many meaningful characters, all sharing the same moment. And it all works because of how Tony Gilroy connects every person to something larger. A writing trick that might not be as obvious as it first seems.
It's a story about revolution, and it's a story about people, normal people, being thrust into the revolution. We don't have any, we don't have any Jedi, we don't have any lightsabers, right. We don't have any of that stuff. We don't have royal family. This is, as we say, it's a show that takes place in the kitchen, not in the dining room.
What's going on?
They took Paak in last night.
Where?
The hotel. He never came home.
One rule that Andor almost always seems to follow is that no matter where the story goes, the perspective is never from above. What I mean is that the focus always stays with the people on the ground. From the prison floor to the rebel hideout, to the streets of Ferrix, even inside the Imperial Security Bureau and to some extent the Senate, we're not at the very top of power. And when we are in those corridors, the focus is still on the everyday people working there.
I should say thank you. You don't have to. We're discussing legislation, not speeches.
What does he mean? What is public order?
It's an awfully big box, isn't it?
When we arrive somewhere new, often with Cassian, the camera doesn't just drop us into action. It moves through the space, showing what life looks like there. The everyday work on Gorman, the culture of Aldhani, the different prisoner teams on Narkina 5. The story always puts the community first. And because of that, it feels like we're discovering these places alongside characters like Vel, Syril, Melshi, or Lieutenant Gorn, to name a few.
Will the Darnies let us build our new facility in peace?
I don't see them having a choice.
The eye, Colonel. You're in for a treat.
It seems as if the more you give and the more you do in creating these communities, the more that can resonate on all layers of the filmmaking.
It's the perfect convergence of shit that's really, really fun to do and really exciting to do, and the payoff is huge.
Is that the best you got?
Just listening to Tony Gilroy talk about these small details that together create a culture and a community of people, it really helps you understand why the story feels so alive. And the planet of Gorman in Season 2 might be the best example of that, with an incredible set, a totally made-up language, and a group of people written with inspiration from our own history.
And the language is legit. I mean, we wanted to have a language that would come out of the French mouth, well, but not be French. Their own sense of pride will be one of the things that helps destroy them. And so we wanted a unified kind of community. So we said, let's get all these French actors. They all learned the language. Nick Britell and I wrote the national anthem. And we invented the whole economy and the Gorlectopods.
Then there are more individual perspectives, with characters that move through these communities. And I want to highlight one of these people that embodies Andor's very efficient writing, and a perfect example of how someone becomes relatable, and that's Wilmon Paak.
Yellow racks at the back. You might have to dig a little.
In a similar manner to so many others, Wilmon's appearance is such a slow burn. He seems literally insignificant until the season 1 finale, where he subtly carries much more weight. And just like Nershi, who I mentioned earlier, ends up siding with the Empire, Wilmon moves in the opposite direction. After his father is captured and killed, something changes in him. This is what pushes him towards the rebellion, that the Empire took his family, his town, and as a result, his life. The shot of him listening to Marva's speech is one of my favorite in the whole show. It's amazing how much emotion it carries from a character who barely has more than a handful of lines in that first season. It's a character moment that I will remember probably forever.
I've been sleeping. I've been turning away from a truth I wanted not to face.
In season 2, he steps into a bigger role, but it's still surprising how much depth the show gives him with so little time in the spotlight. We see the moments that change him, how he finds love, how he gets injured, how he reacts, how he grows, and it's framed in a way that feels familiar, like this could be any of us. And that's partly because of how Tony Gilroy and his team have created these different environments.
You're here! You're not with Luthor, you're here! You're right here, and you're ready to fight!
However, I would argue that what makes his journey so powerful, and it also holds the key to why we remember so many of these smaller characters in the series, it's all about that one zooming in shot in season 1. It's about those moments of realization. Let me explain what I mean.
Cass, I'm sorry. Your mother's dead.
Whether a character has good intentions or not, whether they're a minor role or a major one, with a few exceptions like Orson Krennic or this monster of a man, most people in the series reach some kind of a turning point, a breaking point, a moment that shifts who they are, and if you begin to think about it, you'll probably see it too. To name a few examples, we have Vel, who loses Cinta.
She was a miracle.
There is Major Leo Partagas in his final scene.
What do you think it is?
Sergeant Linus drinking on the ground after the brawl on Ferrex. Brasso at Marva's funeral. The Force Healer that meets Cassian. Caro Rylance when he kills Syril. I could keep going, but you get the idea.
The conspiracy we feared is real! It's here today!
And the reason I bring this up is because in the context of these ordinary lives and everyday communities we mostly see on screen, those moments when something finally snaps stand out like a lone star in the sky. They become just as much of a revelation for us watching as they are for the characters experiencing them.
Who are you?
It's a really refreshing way of writing TV, especially when so many blockbuster fantasy and superhero projects are packed with constant action, quick jokes, and characters doing things just for the sake of doing it.
Wayfinder's there.
Heads up.
In Andor, there is a so much more grounded approach, respecting the audience to pick up on the small things that then lead into something better. But at the same time, not everything has a clear answer. It's one of those things that I love about the series, how it also shows that the moments of change can come too late. Take Syril Karn and that scene before he dies. He begins to understand what he has done, and you can see the horror in it, but it doesn't change the fact that he's still guilty and that he won't have time to change anything. And that leads into perhaps one of the most subtle and interesting realizations in the entire show, Mon Mothma's driver, Kloris.
I'm requesting a new driver.
Don't. They might send someone smart.
I have to acknowledge that there's an entire video on YouTube diving into this character and this specific moment, but I want to briefly touch on it in the context of this video. So Kloris is portrayed as this nobody character. We barely hear him talk. He's always in the background, yet we know for a fact that he's spying on Mon Mothma and working for the quote-unquote wrong side. He's probably not evil, just an ordinary man doing his job, without the awareness or maybe the courage to question the world around him. However, during the powerful speech that this senator gives, the camera keeps zooming in on his reaction. And there is something special there. You can actually see it on his face, something shifting, like he's starting to wonder if the person he's been watching all this time might actually be right.
The death of truth is the ultimate victory.
of evil.
It's Kloris' moment of realization, and without it, I probably wouldn't remember him nearly as well as I do now. And if you connect it back to what I said in the beginning of this video, the way Andor always captures the reactions of ordinary people, the ones actually experiencing these big moments, it makes the whole scene feel so much more dynamic, so much more full of soul. And even if Kloris might not join the rebellion, even if he would have lived, his moment of realization, just like everyone else's, makes me keep coming back to this one specific line from Vel during the Aldhani storyline.
Everyone has their own rebellion.
It's so simple, yet at the same time so complex and brilliant, perfectly capturing in a single sentence what the entire show is about. So to bring everything full circle and really drive home the point of this video, let's look at the final few minutes of Andor and pick up on everything we talked about. At this point, it almost feels like a textbook example. We start with Cassian watering his plants, like it's just another day. The same grounded, quote-unquote boring setup we have seen throughout every single episode. Then we cut to boots hitting the ground. You can feel the presence of Yavin, of the rebellion. Cassian starts moving towards his mission, becoming the vessel for the scene. What he sees, we see. What he experiences, we feel.
It was sort of relaxed. I mean, all he's doing is walking to his ship, and Mon and Vel are having coffee, and Wilmon's having breakfast. Knowing to not try too hard was important.
It's an ending with no grand slam moment. It doesn't try to be special, just showcasing the everyday life of the people that have been involved in this story, how far they have come, both in the good and the bad.
And remind people that behind this rebellion, there's real people, you know? And I think it reminds us how lucky we are if we are capable of having that in our lives.
If you enjoyed this type of Andor video, you will love this one. Thank you for watching and bye bye.